Welcome to episode number 57 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, my host, Stefan Loeffler, John Quack's twins, Ben Wilson at our trading cards, and I'm Tim Shepler, Big Shep79 on Twitter. We are a podcast by collectors for collectors. We hope to bring you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 Central on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We are available on iTunes, Stitcher, Outcast, or Overcast, and YouTube. Check out our website, aboutthecards.com, or aboutthecards.wordpress.com. We have two special guests tonight. Mike Sommer at TheMikeSommer on Twitter, and Beau Thompson at 1 Million Cubs. Guys, welcome tonight. How are we doing?
Doing well. The About the Cards Midwest Bureau reporting for duty.
There we go. We're outnumbered tonight, Ben. The West Coast is getting outnumbered.
Yeah, but if we go based off of IQ, I mean, let's be serious now.
Oh, at least we're not going off height, because then you would be last.
That's true. I wouldn't even be able to see over the keyboard if that was the case.
I mean, there's three of us in the central zone, and Angela's definitely the shortest.
I am the shortest.
There we go. Well,
I almost qualify to be a midget, so that's something.
We have a big birthday coming up. Someone's going to be 40. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
It's tomorrow, right?
I got like a couple hours left in my 30s, and look at the cat spending it with.
Ben's not actually using the age app. He's actually aging in front of us as we speak.
Right.
And not well. So real quick, we're going to get into the show tonight, but real quick, right before we hopped on the show, we were notified former Red Sox outfielder Pumpsy Green passed away today. He was 85. He has the distinction of being the first African-American player to play for the Red Sox and the last pre-expansion major league club to integrate. He played for them for 3 or 4 years, and he had a year with the Twins. He was also drafted by the Green Bay Packers. So that's a heck of an athlete.
That's amazing how many of those players back in the day were so gifted. Guys like Winfield, of course, who went through 3 sports. It's just kind of
Jim Thorpe.
You just don't see that as much anymore, other than the once in a blue moon like a Kyler Murray.
Or the fluke.
Does that hurt? Does that burn a little bit? You guys you lost that draft pick for Kyler Murray?
No, because I know
he would have panned out anyway.
What the thing was, I mean, look, we just traded for Homer Bailey, a 2-month rental, a guy whose arm is about to fall off and has an ERA of close to 5, and we gave up a former first-round pick,
33rd overall.
And now there's rumors that Austin Beck might be on the trade market for pitching, and it's just like Billy Beane has never seen a first-round pick that he likes. So the Arizona Cardinals kind of did us a favor.
Real quick, last week I told you guys about that new service that I found called Replin. It helps sellers build their personal brand and sell online without high fees, because we don't like those fees from eBay, right? It's not as fun when you lose a little bit of your sales when you work hard there. So a lot of people are actually using it for sports and sports cards and collectibles. And real quick, it's easy to do. If you have PayPal login, you just use that. You get to customize your profile, where buyers can pay through PayPal via goods and services. And since you're not hooked to a marketplace, you're not paying the marketplace commission. So you can sell anywhere like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's a big cool. I like it because I can put it on Twitter. You can connect all your social media accounts. It pulls your eBay feedback, and it will all the stuff with your reputation shows of what you've already built up on other sites, and then you can also build a Replin feedback or reputation score. So it's pretty cool there. We've always talked about you want to make sure you're paying goods and services when you're buying online, and so you do have a fee there, but you're taking out paying the site or whatever you're using to facilitate that, so you get a little bit more money in all of your sales. And they've also recently launched their marketplace, which is a really cool way to browse for items being sold on Twitter, and when they've tagged Replin. So I have a profile. You can check it out at replin.com/TBS Sports Cards with a few things out for sale right now. I have a lot of Ultra Pro stuff up there. We have a link on our YouTube channel as well as the video. It's on our I got to add it to our Twitter handle. But if you want to check it out on your own, head over to the Replin.com, or you can download their app. App is on iOS or Android, so it's a pretty cool service. I know that Bean was checking it out this week, and it's been neat. I haven't sold anything yet, but it does help because it pops up, and if you tag them, they reply back with your score as a reply, not as a retweet. So I like that. That's better.
Yeah, it's a good way to help buyers and sellers not only communicate, but have that level of trust with one another. So, in this day and age, if we have to question everything, a service like Replin is very good, just as a resource for us to kind of ease our mind before we do business with people that we've not worked with before.
Yep. So really cool. So we're gonna hop in the week that was last week's releases. Topps Living Week 7. We had the Biggio boys. Craig, card 208. He's the Hall of Fame second baseman, if you don't know, of the Astros. He sold just almost 2,700 cards. His son, Calvin Biggio, card 209 for the Blue Jays, sold almost 3,000. So he beat out good old dad by almost 300. Card 210 was Jason Hayward, the outfielder for the Chicago Cubs, and he's dead last now. He just sold 2,573. So
one shy
of Pablo Sandoval from the previous week. Check out Topps Living Stat for a full breakdown of where these cards fall respectively in the set by team and position. Real quick, guys, it was a good-looking card week, but we've seen the numbers keep falling down in the last few weeks, and I don't think it's due to who's in the cards. I think that some big sellers have actually pulled out of doing the reselling. I heard some more about Twins Jake just saying he's done with it.
It's not really an effective method.
So, we see these numbers coming down. Do you think this set can make it through the year, and do you think this is the end of it this year?
That wouldn't surprise me if, they run it through the end of the year and maybe try to do it through spring training. Because I know they got a good bit of a bump once the season actually started. But it wouldn't surprise me to see that, if trends continue, that they look to cancel it soon.
Somebody had asked
season's end.
Somebody asked on Twitter one time a while back, and I think we had mentioned this about the associated cost of what Topps is selling it for and what they're profiting, and the fact that people on eBay are cheaper. And and I ran the numbers based off, I think, like a 10,000 per week print run, and minus just kind of estimating their costs. Topps is making a lot of money off this. Even if it slips into the 6,000-7,000 a week, they're still making a ton, I would imagine, enough for it to be sustainable. And it's not. It would be like one of us having a side hustle, right? It's not their main source because they have all of their hobby and retail releases. On Demand has probably extremely low overhead outside of the printing costs and shipping costs. I think it's going to take a lot for this set to end. I don't think seeing it in the 7s and 8s is going to be good enough. So in other words, as long as you still see 7,000 and 8,000 a week, this set's going to be with us for the foreseeable future.
Well, it's good because I like it. Don't get me wrong. The numbers have kind of been concerning.
Well, one thing to keep in mind is I went to buy all 3 of these last week, and this is only the second set of 3 that I've bought directly from Topps, and they didn't have them listed. It took them like 2 hours to get it listed, and then once the 3 of them populated, you were not allowed to buy the 3-card bundle right away. So I don't know if any of those delays had anything to do with
giving people a second thought, maybe.
Out of sight, out of mind. I was getting frustrated to the point where I knew I was going to buy Craig Biggio. I was kind of on the fence with Hayward, and I was like, you know what, screw it, I'll just buy all 3 of them. I'll do it from Topps, and then it's like, well, if I end up having to go to eBay, I'm only buying Craig Biggio and moving on.
Right.
And I don't know how long. I know I had to buy it the following day. So we don't know how that affected their sales, but I don't think it would have helped at all.
Yeah,
I think we're pretty safe, even if we get down into maybe the triple-digit range per card. They just launched the Star Wars set or whatever. It's selling between 1,000 and 2,000 cards per card, whatever you want.
One that they're doing like characters, right?
And
right.
And the Topps Now stuff. I mean, there's they're doing WWE Topps Now stuff that's like 35 cards. Granted, that comes out a little more frequently, but they're still releasing, some of these on-demand things that are only 2 digits per card. So with this set, I think we're pretty safe, at least for another year to 2, even getting down into the several hundred cards per player. That's my theory anyway.
And you're still seeing the big names are still pushing enough. We saw Trout, we saw Guerrero. You're going to have down weeks. I think all of us thought that the Biggio connection, the father and son, might drive it a little bit. But at the end of the day, 7,500 to 8,000 cards is still a ton of on-demand cards.
Oh, yeah.
So, now,
wait till Brett comes out.
Yeah, I mean, you'll single-handedly. I hear that you're going to drive directly to Topps and help them print the cards and just start taking them out the back door, kind of like a Italian job type thing.
Yep.
So he's going to have a sheet of just those printed, like Griffey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's going to have like a Den of Thieves type thing where he's sitting in a box just waiting for them to be loaded and on the back of a truck.
Right.
Yes.
So.
We also had 2019 Topps Archive Signature Series released. 2019 Topps Diamond Icons. I busted, 10, 12 cases of that myself. 2019 Panini Gold Standard Football and 1819 Upper Deck Ultimate Collection. As we hop in this week's, in the hot off the presses, this week's releases, Topps Living Week 71. We had card 211, Charlie Morton, the pitcher of the Rays. 212, Brendan Rodgers, the rookie shortstop of the Colorado Rockies. And 213, bat flip himself, Tim Anderson, second baseman of the Chicago White Sox. People are speculating that this could be a down week, with Rodgers being injured. You got a Ray and a White Sox. We know that the White Sox are the best team in Chicago, but
well,
it's hard to say that out loud.
Speaking of 3-digit print runs here, definitely going to be a 4 week. I'd argue.
Yeah, it's Rodgers is out for the season now. Morton's obviously not a big star. He's an aging pitcher who's having a great year, but. We'll definitely probably see some lows here in the bottom 10 for all of them. That wouldn't surprise me, unless Rodgers.
At least the Rays and White Sox are getting some cards.
And that's the idea behind the set, right? Is for all these to be, players of past and present and potentially the future, and for all the teams to be represented as close to equal as possible. I mean, obviously we know that the Sox and the Yankees, the Cubs, Dodgers, they're all going to get the lion's share, but
real quick, teams below 5, the Cleveland teams at 5, that's the low number. The Indians at 5, Tigers have 5. Oh, the Royals, they're last. They have 4. Yay. Marlins have 5, and the Rangers have 5. So
the Tigers, I just can't believe that they're at the bottom with their history and the fact that they were around before the turn of the 20th century. It's just like, come on.
Can we get a George Brett so he's the 5th Royal?
Who's that?
Not before K-Line.
Who's George Brett? Oh, he's the 4th best third baseman of all time.
And I like the crickets in the background because it's perfect for that.
Ben's attempts at jokes.
One of my favorite releases, 2019 Topps Allen and Ginter dropped today. $100 a box, 24 packs per box, 8 cards per pack. You're getting 3 autographs, Mem Rip or A&G originals as your hits, and 24 mini cards. It's a 350 card base set. There are no cards from 301 to 350, but their short prints are 351 to 400. I don't understand why the big giant skip in numbering, but okay. It's more than just a baseball product. There's full-size parallels come in a couple of different forms. There's a glossy versions. Those are one of ones. And they also have silver portrait parallels that are exclusive to hot boxes. They have the gold paralleled ones that are hot box. They're 1 per case. Minis are very sought after in this set. Some notable non-baseball autographs in there. Graham Elliott, he's a chef. He's a big baseball collector. Gary Vanderchuck, if you guys know who Gary V is. Harrison Ford. Mike Oz, who we're going to get on the show soon. He is the baseball card video host that does on Yahoo, the old baseball cards. Mayumi Sato, the artist of Topps Living. Mark Summers. James Holtzhauer, the Jeopardy champ. Ken Burns, who made the baseball documentary, Post Malone and his face tattoos, and then a couple bonus autos here. So there are 2 bonus autos. Thomas Fish, which is the owner of Blowout Cards. He's a bonus autograph, and he won this from the Topps Transcendent Party. And then there's also Nathan Burns. He's the owner of Grand Slam Collectibles, and he donated over $20,000 to be an Allen and Ginter this year. It was when Clay Parks, who ran Sportzilla breaks with his wife Abby, he was one of the 5 victims in the workplace shooting back in February in Aurora, Illinois. We talked about that on the show and how he donated that money to be in there, and that went to his family. So I tweeted out a picture of him with like 202 boxes of A&G to open. And I made a joke then saying, hey, oh yeah, this product's allocated. But I know he got his stuff, and then he also traded things to look to pull his own autograph. And I know he was doing something that during a break, if he pulled his own autograph, there was a $5,000 bounty of him giving it to a charity or something to that effect. So I looked up, he does a ton of good work in his area, donating money and funds to a lot of different charities. So I'm excited to see if he comes across and gets to pull his own auto. But guys, Allen and Ginter, so unique. But what did you guys think? Did you guys see anything? I was in a couple breaks today and had some fun. Have you seen those box toppers, the triple rip box toppers?
Well, I'm screen sharing one that our friend pulled, the 6 of 10 of the little girl who pitched at all of the stadiums.
Oh, with her mechanical hand.
Yes. He got a 6 of 10.
Her name's Haley Dawson, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it looks like she wrote. Yep. But another one of note that I wanted to chase from the set, because you'll have your teams or players, and then again, this is Ginter, so you'll have your oddball sets. But one that you didn't mention, Charles Martinet. He's the voice actor for Mario, has been since Mario 64. As well, he was the voice of the main protagonist, Dragon in Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls series. Excellent voice talent. I've had him sign my Wii, had him sign my Wii U. Whoa. And when he comes back around, he'll be signing my Switch.
From your wife and your
family show.
It sounds inappropriate that you had your Wii signed.
Hey, I can't help what Nintendo names it. But that was definitely a interesting addition. I wish they'd maybe hit on more of the video game greats. And, especially now with esports becoming a huge thing, it would make a great extension.
So I was in a break and did not have the Royals, and there was a George Brett box topper triple rip card, and I was very sad. It was not coming home to me, but those were super. That was a super cool addition this year. But with you chasing a million Cubs, is this something that's up your alley?
Absolutely. Allen and Ginter is my favorite set, my favorite product of the year, and it's one of those products where you hear so many people complain and, I'm not buying this product because it's not baseball cards. And, there's a product for everybody. And even though I collect Cubs and that's basically my only PC, it's just fun to rip open and pull some of these autographs. And, there's a lot of complaints year after year on who the autograph subjects are. But, I think this non-baseball autograph checklist is one of the best in recent years. Gary V is going to be a big seller. And a lot of the complaints I see on social media is, I want to pull a baseball autograph, not some guy I've never heard of like Gary V. Well, the thing is, if you pull a Gary V autograph, you can sell it it's probably going to sell for, I haven't seen the listings today for this year's product, but they're probably going to sell for in excess of $100. And the baseball autographs are not going to touch that unless it's a low numbered or a superstar. So you can sell that and you can buy, multiple of what you want from this product.
So what you're saying is, if I can find it, I should send you my ripped Felix PA from 2008 Ginter?
Absolutely. And you know what? I would buy that. I bought a ripped Javier Baez last year. So yes, absolutely. In fact, Felix PA, yeah, I'd buy it.
All right,
So
how much
right
would
now
you pay
there's-
for it?
A ripped Felix PA, I would pay $5.
No, not enough. Keep
About
going.
$4.99 more than you expect.
The grand old $5.
So real quick, some Gary V cards right now. None of us sold yet, but we have bids of 21 bids on one that ends in 4 days. It's up to $127, and then two that are best offer, $350 and $389. So
Yeah, they'll probably come down. But Beau's right. They'll probably still.
well, I mean, I had a penny Marshall from 2013. I recently put up for auction. Started at 99 cents, and I sold it for over $100. And I understand that she passed away, but I forgot I totally had it. I ripped a bunch of 13 Allen and Ginter, and it was just.
She passed away quite a while back, so it's not like
so
there was
I
any
didn't
kind of
ripping the title or any of that stuff. I just listed the card and it sold. But it was out of all those, I went through all the autographs I had from that sold for more than like the other 6 autographs I had of Allen and Ginter up there.
Okay, so one thing that we've mentioned is it's not obviously a baseball exclusive product. So if you're just getting back into the hobby, you're not familiar with the product, don't go to Walmart or Target and buy a blaster and be disappointed. So hopefully you know what you're buying going in. But the other thing is there are people who are Ginter super master collectors, just like
I
Harry.
love Ginter. I have like this sore spot for Ginter. And he's currently showing the reason why I will buy boxes of Ginter this year, which is the aviation panorama set. It's an insert set this year for this year's Allen and Ginter, and it's bringing back the love, man.
No, yeah, and it's there was a guy here locally in the Northern California area
who's had the drink
that would spend $20,000 to $30,000 a year piecing together, a master set where he needs all of the autos as well, not just the he's going for everything, and it sounds like a lot of money, but if we really added up everything that we spend on a yearly basis, it's not insane. The difference is we spread it out over. I spread it out over 50, 60 products when you count all of the on-demand stuff as well, all the parallels. This particular individual just does Ginter, period. And that's what's beautiful. I'm not a fan of the set. I'm the opposite of Beau. I'll buy my A's and get out of it. I'm not a big fan, but there are people that are die-hard Ginter fans because of the stuff that you can only get in Ginter that you won't find in any other product.
There's a card that has seeds in it where you can plant it and it will grow.
Well, and they did that, like I said, in the DMs like 2011 or so, where you, like you were saying, you cut it to a certain point and then plant it, and you'll have a flower within however many days.
And then they have the rip card, which is always cool. And you have to decide if you're going to rip it or not, hey, real quick, guys, the wood minis in 2019 are in the
hobby only.
Yes, but people physically have them in their hands, unlike last year where the 2018 wood minis are still missing.
They actually exist.
Speaking of minis, the new stained glass minis are pretty sweet.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, I had them on my.
They're not on card numbered, but there's only 25 versions.
25 each. Yeah. There's 5 A's. I put them on my want checklist. Now that I've seen a few hit the market and see what they're going for, I don't know that I'll be getting any of them, but yeah, it looks like some of the lower end buy it nows are around $50 best offer. Any of them that are at auction already have quite a few bids on them, but they are a phenomenal addition that we haven't seen a whole lot of. I mean, there's stuff in like I forget which product it was, Finest or something, that had something similar a couple years ago.
They're sharp. They're cool.
But yeah, they're definitely a neat addition especially if you're a player collector where you only really have to go after one.
The box top rips are cool too. That was a neat ad this year, I think, because they, you have your boring single box toppers in there. I think adding that in was a cool thing. So, also today, 2019 Panini Donruss Optic baseball dropped $90 a box, 20 packs per box, 4 cards per pack. You're getting 2 autographs, 12 inserts, 10 Prism. The 200 card base set, basically it's a chromium dip version of the Donruss product. Prism parallels, there are 14 different colors and pattern combos. There's there's a hot box. Hot boxes in the 2019 Donruss Optic cases. They're made up of a dozen boxes. In each case, there are 4 hot boxes. 2 of them are autographed hot boxes, which have 5 autographs. And then there are Prism hot boxes. Those are 2 per case as well. And they have all their cards are numbered. They have cards numbered to 20 or 20 numbered parallels. I'm sorry, in there. So it's if you're buying a case, you're going to run into a couple hot boxes in there, which I think are cool. But tons of parallels. And like I said, you have the chrome dipped base cards of the Donruss set.
Welcome to the chat, Rich.
So again, not one of my favorites, just because I don't know. I find Donruss just a tad boring myself.
It's a spitting image of Donruss. It's just shiny. We've talked about this plenty of times before. Just combine the two and have chrome refractors or shiny refractors. Call them Optic and move on.
Don't give them ideas. Leave it as separate sets. It's easier to catalog.
That just means they'll come up with another Optic. What's that, Mike?
That's what they did with racing. This 2019 Donruss Racing, they included the Optic versions as a parallel or a insert, however you want to consider it, which was pretty cool. They came out pretty nice as just what you described, where the base set is your paper, and then kind of inserted into the regular set is the Optic version.
Kind of like Bowman.
Yep.
Right. So you have your paper Bowman prospects and you have your chrome Bowman. And I think that would be a neat product, but this gives them an extra baseball release. So it is there. We also have 1819 Panini Opulence basketball dropping. It's $1,000 a box, 1 pack per box, 8 cards per pack. You're going to get 7 autographs indoor mem cards in there. It's a 150 card base set. There are 99 copies or less of the base. All cards, all autograph are on card. Memorabilia is basically just chock full of premium patches. There's a rookie patch autos that are part of the numbered set, part of the base set, and they're numbered at a 79.
Hate when they do that.
And per Panini, Opulence is the only basketball card set of the year with booklet cards. So this, obviously, Opulence is just says it all. But that book card you're showing right there, you have the top 8 picks in the draft from last year is pretty nice, to be honest. So you got Marvin Bagley in there, and he's the best one on the card. So
don't say that in Dallas.
But this definitely, I know that we're gonna have as you get to the end of the year, we're having some of the higher end basketball stuff drop, and we made that joke about 17-18 lasting forever. I think 18-19 might last a little bit longer, guys, for basketball products. But while it's hot, it's out there until Zion comes, and we forget who Luka and Ayton and Trae Young are, right? Because we'll all be about Zion in a few weeks. So, 2019 Panini Elements Football comes out Friday, $150 a box, 1 pack per box, 4 cards per pack. You're going to receive 1 metal autograph, 1 acetate autograph, 1 mem card, and 1 metal base card or parallel.
Speaking of sets being released way after they should be.
Yes. This is in 2019 though, not 2018. 2019.
Is it 1819 or 1920?
No, it's just 19. This football, they only use the 1 year because anyway. We get this fight. The main set is all metal, with both veterans and rookies. That still it's got a photography focus on it, and the base cards are numbered to 75. And as of this morning, there still was not a checklist available, so we'll probably get one Friday. Unless, there it is. Sweet. So the checklist is available. So yeah, there you go. You see the vets in the 2019 rookie classes in there. So check out that Friday. We're gonna hop into what's brewing next week's releases. 2019 Panini Certified Football, 2019 Panini Immaculate Collection Baseball, 2019 Topps Clearly Authentic Baseball,
trash,
and 1819 Panini Encased Basketball. So I told you more basketball to come. But we'll hop into infield chatter here in just a second.
So it's not my coughing going at it, but if you guys hear a fan in the background, I'm sorry, the AC's out.
Ooh.
And the parents just left for their 25th anniversary, so I'm not doing any house maintenance.
Happy anniversary, Mom and Dad.
25th, 25 years today.
Yeah, due to their marriage, it gave us Stefan as a byproduct, and
I was 6 at the time.
But moving on, before we get to infield chatter, Tim. Let's just Replin, just in case you hopped in or missed the first few minutes. We want to talk about Replin really quick. We mentioned them at the top of the show. I want to give you a little more information. Feel free to skip back to the first few minutes. There will be a little bit more information on that. But essentially, Replin helps sellers build their personal brand, sell online without high fees. They have really cool integration with Twitter, where you can connect your account. You mentioned @on Replin. Replin is spelled REPLIN. And your sale items will get posted on the Replin marketplace so buyers can find your stuff for a sale. A lot easier than browsing Twitter all day. Tim listed a few things for sale recently, so if anybody wants a good deal on Ultra Pro supplies, check out his Replin profile at replin.com/TBS sports with an S cards, and let him know if there's anything you want. So head over to replin.com, download their app on iOS or Android.
Thank you, sir. Infield chat. I appreciate you letting everybody know where they can help support my habit. I took a good key from Mike in trying to be a self-sustaining hobby, and I've been stealing also from Chris Torres as well. I have a question for him. If he's listening, I doubt, because I think he's ripping his Allen and Ginter. In his first box, he pulled a Ichiro rip card, just a regular base rip card. By being a Mariners fan, and he only collects certain types of Mariners, and doesn't keep a lot for himself, do you think he would keep the rip card? Being it's Ichiro in a Mariners.
Maybe, but there's a lot of people, including our friend Dan, that would love to get their hands on it. So it would be desirable. And Chris isn't really a Mariners collector like some of us are with our particular teams and players. He collects certain Mariners, and he stays within that vacuum, and that's it.
And just a quick question. So, real quick, last Friday night on the 12th, the Angels and the Mariners played, and Angels threw a combined no-hitter. Some interesting, and this is more about sports, I guess, things that happened. So we had a combined no-hitter. It was the first game the Royals had played at home since they lost pitcher Tyler Skaggs. His mom threw out the first pitch, and boy, did she throw out a heck of a first pitch. Thing was a bullet. It was an awesome first pitch. The Angels wore Skaggs jerseys. They had a picture where they laid all the jerseys on the mail with a picture of him. And it just happened hours before what would have been his 28th birthday.
The game actually ended East Coast time on his birthday.
Yes. And the last time that there was a combined no-hitter in the state of California was the Orioles-A's in Oakland on July 13th, 1991, the same day that Tyler Skaggs was born.
So naturally, Topps printed any number of these criteria on a card, right?
Absolutely, no. Because that's what the program is for.
They did not. There was no mention of Skaggs. It was a really generic card. But my question is, and I get it, because I think if they had gone that way, people would have come out of the woodwork saying you're promoting and trying to make money off someone's death.
Sure.
And they didn't do it, and then people came after him anyway. So was it a no-win situation for Topps at this point?
Mike, Beau, you guys have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's a no-win situation because, you do it, and you're going to have half the people are going to be upset because you do it. Half the people are going to be upset because you don't do it. You can't please everybody, and I think this is a perfect example of, if you do it, you're going to have a certain segment that's upset. If you don't do it, you're going to have another segment that's not happy with it.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I mean, just the firestorm that we saw from people posting, the eBay listings with RIP in them. If you had an actual manufacturer giving any kind of appearance that they were trying to profit off of it, I think people would have just gone nuts. But, like you guys are saying, there's other people saying why they ignore it, and so I don't think they could win in either way.
Yep. What if they did something where they said, 50%, 70% of all sales related just to this one card goes to a charity that Tyler was behind, or they could have maybe reached out to the Skaggs family and said, hey, what was Tyler really passionate about? And we're going to donate basically all of the net profits to this. I don't think that would have been ill received. Maybe it would have been, just because that's how people are. But
well, two, just and to put this out, there was mention that they're not knowing why he passed or what happened. Is that also too, is if something not if it was a bad way to, if he went a bad way and it wasn't something natural, I also don't think they wanted to be involved in that.
It's definitely a very touchy subject, but at the very least, I think they could have included the photo with all the jerseys on the mounds.
Yeah,
or let it speak for itself.
Or the great Rick Wilson in chat says he thinks they should have done a card of his mom throwing that bullet.
Right.
And she was one of his coaches growing up. And man, she got up there and lasered one, and the emotions, I can't even imagine what she was going through, and with everything that's going on. So just kind of button up that a little bit, but one of those things. Hey, they're in a bad. I think it's just a bad spot for them. I do want to say we always bash on Topps, right? And before the show, I had a package that came, and I wasn't expecting anything from Topps. And I opened it up, and I forgot I actually submitted this. So when I was opening my Series 2, one of my packs was severely damaged. All the cards had rubbed down corners, and it had the autograph in there, my jumbo box. I was a little sad, so I had to fill out the paperwork, and I sent it in, and fingers crossed, hey, I'm going to get something back, right? Well, they sent me back. Basically, they ended up sending me back all these cards with inserts, and all the inserts are actually numbered, and it's 3 more cards than I actually sent in. And then they also replaced my Bryce Wilson autograph, which was a base 84 autograph, and they actually replaced it with a Victor Robles auto numbered out of 150.
Right, the 150th year parallel.
Yeah, so I felt really good about having to send in my dinged up cards and receiving these back, and so I think they are trying to make a better situation out of that stuff. And real quick, Steph, I saw you pulled up the card. You want to show the front of the card real quick? So it just says combined no hitter in the first game after All-Star break, Angels, and it has the 2 pitchers there at the date. And on the back, it shows the team celebrating together and high-fiving. So,
well, and so friend of the show, Dub had posted a picture saying, "Hey, guess what packs these came out of?" And I said, immediately, Bowman Platinum, because they were dinged corners. So I've got to pack out myself. But no, on the Angels thing, it's definitely a very touchy subject, and have to kind of play. They can either play it safe or just toss a card out. And
I would imagine that they spoke at length in a boardroom somewhere, deciding whether or not this is something they should touch on. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't even reach out to the Skaggs family or Major League Baseball to see what they thought.
Or the Angels family.
Yeah, because of how delicate it is. And, worst case scenario, we all work for businesses or have owned businesses, and it's one of those things, right?
Yeah.
The company has to protect itself, and I'd rather err on the side of caution, even if it means upsetting half of the fan base. If it does come out, to Tim's point, in a month, how he died, and it wasn't any kind of, no nefarious acts of whatsoever, right? Just a young man who had a brain aneurysm or something, blood clot that unfortunately took his life.
Undiagnosed.
Then maybe it's something that they can include in Topps update, maybe a tribute to him. And
because they did that for Corey Lytle, right? The year he passed away.
Yes, it
yeah, because he died in a plane crash.
Yep.
Yeah, and there have been so many guys that have died during their playing days or right afterward. I'm sure they'll do something at some point. I'd be shocked if they weren't. I don't know if Topps now is the appropriate way to honor that.
Well, and I think they announced that they weren't going to do the toxicology result public until after the season.
Yeah, I think they should just let it go and let the Angels,
if it even gets public.
Yeah, right. Let the Angels try to move on and finish out their season, and hopefully it's a good one. I like to see them in the playoffs. Real quick on Twitter at Graham Slam Bree or Graham Slam Breaks tweeted out the other day that they're done with eBay. It's official. Grand Slam breaks will no longer be on eBay. Too many fees, and I'd rather give the savings all to you. Grand Slam breaks will be doing live auctions on YouTube Live from now on. So, real quick, breaks and selling on eBay. I thought that they were kind of a taboo on that a little bit, but two, it's gonna be interesting to see how you're gonna try to, how to sell live auctions via YouTube. That's demanding a lot of the customer to be there and be on demand to be able to buy product. I feel like a lot of people are, like as we talked about before, like fed up with fees and stuff, but, they do facilitate a service, and the money they do take from there, helps bring eyes. So you're paying basically for advertisement so people will come and buy from you. If not, then you got to figure out a way to get to the public and get to such a large population searching for certain items. And, eBay is one of the largest next to Amazon, and to do auctions and stuff like that, then they're their go-to, right? So I don't know if there's, unless you have your own site and you're pumping it that way, and you're using social media and you're really savvy that way with email marketing and blasts and stuff like that, that you have as many eyes coming to buy from you as possible. I know that I know Mike sells, and I just want to see, if you guys had any thoughts on just kind of giving up and not wanting to pay the fees to eBay anymore.
Yeah, I'm by no means, as we've talked about before, I'm by no means doing this full time as my main source of income or anything like that. But I will sell on eBay all the time, even if it's solely, like you said, to get more eyes on what I'm selling, my username, my website, whatever it might be, just as an avenue to be able to promote the blog, whatever it might be. I'm going to use eBay as a platform to do all of that. And yeah, I'm paying 9%, with at the store rate that I've got. But with the stuff that I'm selling, if I can't absorb that 9%, like there's an issue with the price I'm paying for the cards I'm trying to sell. I would think that should just be able to be a cost of doing business in that 9 or 10%. If it's really causing you to abandon one of the biggest selling platforms, I feel like there's got to be something else going on there too.
Yeah, no, it was just kind of, and a lot of breakers, use their own sites to do that, but they've been more established, and and I know a lot of them used eBay and other ways to get up there and get customer base. And like I said, when you're selling via eBay, it's a great way for you to advertise them directly to your customer to come see you directly. Hey, if you have any more needs, here's my website, here's my email, here's my Twitter handle. Come find me these ways, and I can even give you a better deal than what you got on this, right? So, you have to be smart about the way you perceive it. And again, it's you're paying for a service, like paying for shipping, right? So you're paying to have it delivered to somebody, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later in the show, about the best ways to deliver cards and some effective ways to use certain envelopes. So that'll be fun.
Certain colored envelopes.
Yes, our buddy at OACC Cards, Once a Cub Cards, on Twitter tweeted out, "My first card show in a long time, pet peeve, paying admission. It's just a few bucks, but why do I have to pay for the opportunity to spend more money on cards? To spend more money, especially as a budget collector. That could be another 25 cards. So what are your thoughts on a card show charging an admission fee, just in general?"
So I brought this up with my fellow co-employee because he's also a show promoter. He runs a show a couple times a year, as well as his benefit shows. And his best argument that I thought he brought up was that, one, it's a way to keep track of attendance. Now, mind you, you want to have a reasonable show fee. But two, and it depends on state laws, but you can argue that if you're having someone pay, you can now throw them out if you see them coming in there a known scammer. And I get the arguments, but I personally, unless it's like $1, $2, and hey, here's something free, or here's a soda or whatever. I don't like paying to have the opportunity to maybe pay someone else more.
Okay, what's the most you'd pay for to attend a show, guys?
2 to 5.
Besides national.
Yeah. I'm just talking about local show.
2 to 5. 10's a bit much, unless you're having like an autographed guest.
Ben, what would you pay?
I wouldn't pay any more than like $5. And my dad brought up some good points, because he's done toy train shows for years, and he said one reason it's good for the show promoter to charge is it does show that the people there are serious. If you're going to come out of your pocket just to get in, you're there to buy. Doesn't mean you are going to buy, but you're at least motivated enough to dig into your pocket. One thing he also brought up, Tim and I live in California. We're right down the street from the fairgrounds, which currently is hosting the California State Fair. And they have a big, kind of like the Cow Palace show here in San Francisco. They've got a mini version of the National at the Cal Expo Fairgrounds once a year. And the problem is the fairgrounds charges parking, like $10 before you even get to the door, which charges admission as well. That's a bit much. So as long as it's free parking, I don't mind a couple of bucks just to, show that I'm serious. I'm there. I'm also more inclined to stay longer if I have a vested financial interest.
Well, yeah, because you want to make your money worth it, right?
So, Mike or Beau, what would you guys pay?
Ben brought up a great point about motivated to buy. When I go to a show, I'm not typically going to specifically buy. So any more than $5, I'm out. Even $5, depending on the show, it's a case-by-case basis. We have a local show here in Madison. It's about once a month during baseball season, and there's only like 7 or 8 tables, and they charge $1.50, which, here's $1.50. If I don't find anything that I want, it's okay. But it's usually the same dealers. If it were any more than, even if it were $3 or $4, I probably wouldn't go, because I know who's going to be there. It's a very small show.
Not really revolving.
And I'm not a motivated buyer. If I find a deal, I'll buy, but I'm not going specifically to buy anything unless it, is a good buy.
You're going to talk, which is what I do at most of those budget shows that don't revolve, is I'm going literally to talk to other people that know the hobby.
A social.
Yeah.
It's very much social outing.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate the idea of charging to go to a show. I mean, it would be one thing if this was a hobby that is thriving and people are beating down the doors and whatever, but we're in a situation where we're trying to get people to come back to the hobby. We want to grow the collecting base, and to charge people to come and check it out, it seems crazy to me. I set up at a local show every month, and I want as many people to come as possible. And I don't care if they initially come as a motivated buyer or if we've had several people come and say, hey, I heard about this and thought I'd come check it out. And they had no intention of buying a card when they walked in. They were just trying to figure out what collecting's all about, how it changed since they were a kid and all that kind of stuff. And they end up walking out with cards.
Yeah.
Right. If they would have showed up at the door and been like, it's $5 to get in, they're like, screw this. I think it's crazy to charge for a small local show. I want as many customers as there as possible.
Yeah. A couple things that I would say is if you were charging for a local show, there needs to be I would say at least 20 dealers, right? And $1 or $2, and half of that needs to go to some local charity. I think that'd be a good way for people. Mark Hoyle in the chat said that he has a big regional show that's $7 to get in, but there's 400 dealers.
That's huge.
That's a big time show, and $7. I mean, that's a pretty good value to get in there. The other thing too is if a show, I remember back in the 90s, we used to have shows here in Sacramento quite often, and there was a $5, usually about a $5 cover to get in, and if you were under 12 or under, you were free or there was a discount, right? And the kids always got something. But they always had a free autograph guest, and that admittance fee paid for that autograph guest to be there. and you go up and get your, wait in your hour line, but you got your free autograph of, whoever, whatever, King or 49er they had. One year was Roger Craig, and I remember getting really excited to meet Roger Craig, and that's where you have to do. But if it's a show of like 10, 15 dealers and they're charging $5-10 to get in, it's kind of where you draw the line of
my dad and I were talking about this the other night, because the train shows that he goes to, they do charge a door admission, but they also do like raffle giveaways where you could get like almost monopoly money. It's show money that you can exchange with any dealer of your choice. And, if it's a $10, monopoly card, gift money, you can then take that and I can give it to Tim, and Tim gives me his item for $10, and then Tim would take that money and give it back to the show promoter for his actual cash. So basically they're using the door admission as a indirect raffle giveaway. And an idea I thought of too, like if you were charging a door admission, if you went to certain dealers and said, all right, you guys are all of my dealers and I'm the show promoter, and I said, I'm going to give me something that's $10, and I'm going to use that door admission to give you your $10. So you're immediately making a $10 sale. And then at 11 o'clock, I'm going to say, all right, Tim, I'm going to raffle off your $10 item. And for the next 30 minutes, you can have any kind of promotion that will be announced by the show. Hey, over at Tim's table, buy one, get one on all of his vintage. And then 30 minutes later, it moves on to the next table, with whoever's involved. And yeah, there might be a rush of people to your table during that window, but it also motivates you for wanting to set up at the show and move inventory. And, at the end of the day, to me, it might be short-sighted, but it seems like it would be a win for everybody, the consumer, the dealer, and the show promoter.
Yeah, so it was just an interesting thought. Like, we're lucky enough for our local show that's at least once a quarter, if not more often, doesn't charge an admittance fee. And there's Ben, would you say 20 plus dealers of that show?
Yeah, and Matt, who is once a Cub, he had mentioned also in his argument as people were coming back, why not pass any overages instead of charging a door, a door admission, charge the dealer a little bit more for the table. And I don't necessarily, this could be a very big topic and a big discussion. I don't necessarily know that that's the answer. I think Matt was just kind of being a curmudgeon because he didn't want to pay, just like Mike, and Mike brought up good points. You don't want to push that casual, just looking kind of interested in getting back to the hobby. I was doing this as a kid. You don't want to push them out the door.
Yeah. Foul 5 Ball said there are no shows or shops in his area in Ventura, California, and he'd pay $20 to go. So maybe we set up a show down in Ventura, Ben, and make some money.
We could do it on the street corner and just have him give us a $20 bill.
Hey, I don't want to know what you do for $20 on a street corner, Ben.
Well,
Steph's getting his Wii signed. You're looking like for $20.
Not like getting your Wii signed, I can tell you that.
So I'm gonna probably have new co-hosts with Mike and Beau in the future, as you guys are arrested for getting,
we're selling socks out of his trunk.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, black socks. Yes. Marking it up.
It's not talking about Shoeless Joe and the that team there.
Long story for post show.
So another one of our followers, we love them, and we always steal ideas. And I reached out and said, "Hey, can we steal your question?"
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I sent up a DM. Kinetic Collector, is that what it is? Canic Collector?
Caniac,
I think.
Caniac Collector. I call him JK because that's what he has listed. He put out a tweet: today's hobby. What would be your dream dual auto for a card company to create? For me, it's a tie between a Mike Bossy and Alexander Ovechkin dual auto or a Willie O'Ree PK Subban dual auto. What's yours? Obviously, he's a hockey fan, and I can tell because I think all four of those guys are hockey players.
Yes, he's a big hockey collector. Just real quick, he's a good Twitter follow as well. I know we're not really doing that segment on tonight's show. He's a former
Twitter spotlight.
Yeah, he's a former military guy. And he's very open about his PTSD and other things. He blogs quite often about, I think we all have this personal connection that we've got into before, that cathartic feel that these cards bring us together with our childhood memories, with one another. We've all met each other through the hobby. And, for being former military and having suffered through some of his experiences, he came to the hobby as a way of kind of helping to deal with that. And his wife is very understanding. Give him a follow, check out his blog, because he's got some really good information. And besides, hey, he's one of us. He likes to collect.
So, Mike, what would be your, and I'm going to do this. So I want to do a sport and a non-sport dual auto. So Mike, who's your sport auto? Who would you want on a dual sport?
I think for me, it would be really cool to have a dual auto of Greg Maddux and Rafael Palmeiro. So stick with me. So growing up in Central Illinois, the Peoria Chiefs were the minor league single A franchise for the Cubs throughout my childhood. Both of those guys played on the 1985 Peoria Chiefs, which was right as I was 85 and 86 was right when I was starting to pay attention to baseball. And so being that those guys both played local on the same team and went on to pretty solid major league careers, that'd be a pretty cool dual auto for me to have.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, I like that quite a bit. And, the guys that are our age, I mean, those two guys were dominant throughout that. Who would be on your non-sport dream dual card?
Non-sport, I think, I'm a pretty big fan of history as well. And kind of on that theme of Ginter. And I think a dual auto of Ronald Reagan and Abraham Lincoln would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Obviously, you might need to have some cut autos there at this point. But both, again, from being from Illinois, both those guys, former presidents, having Illinois ties, that would be a pretty cool dual auto for me.
I like it. Beau, who would your sport one be?
Perfect tie-in because, like Mike, I'm from Illinois. So for the sport, he grew up with the Peoria Chiefs. I actually worked for the Peoria Chiefs during the summer of 2012. I saw Javier Baez make his debut in Peoria. It was Memorial Day weekend in 2012. Since then, he's been my favorite Cub, my favorite baseball player. So Javi Baez has to be on that card. He's from Puerto Rico, one of the greatest Puerto Rican baseball player, Roberto Clemente, would have to be a cut auto. But to have that Puerto Rico tie with Javi and Roberto Clemente would be an awesome card.
I like it. Who's your non-sport dream dual auto?
Huge Pearl Jam fan. I love Pearl Jam. I've blogged about them on my website several times. Been to a few concerts. So
favorite
Eddie
song?
Vedder. What's
favorite
that?
Favorite song, and why is it Elderly Woman in the longest name in the Pearl Jam catalog?
That is my favorite Pearl Jam song. I don't know. Elderly woman standing behind the counter in a small town. And the reason they named that was because Eddie got tired of all of the one name songs, Jeremy, Black,
sure,
and all of those. So
10 Porches. Yeah.
So that Oceans, that's my favorite song. I don't know why it just, for some reason, it clicks with me.
Well, you're wrong because it's Yellow Ledbetter, but
yeah.
So Eddie with Bill Murray, another classic Cubs, obviously 1 million Cubs diehard fan. So Bill Murray, Eddie Vedder, two diehard Cubs fans like myself, would be awesome. And I'm still looking to add an Eddie Vedder. That's kind of top 3 on my want list of Cubs memorabilia is an Eddie Vedder autographed baseball. So Eddie Vedder and Bill Murray on a dual auto would be awesome.
I like that. We have in the chat real quick, Mark Hoyle said Yaz and Teddy, or Fox and Grove, being all on the Red Sox, and then McCartney and Jagger.
So Mark and I
anyway.
Mark and I go back and forth as to who Jimmy Fox and Lefty Grove belong to, either the Boston Red Sox or the Philadelphia Athletics, and so we always like to jab each other. So that's why he said he'd love a Grove and Fox, but both have to be with the Red Sox, which would be the wrong team, of course.
So Jimmy Fox isn't a Cub?
Oh dear Lord, Beau.
Oh,
dear Lord. The show had been going so well to the 59-minute mark.
So Ben, who's your sport dream dual auto?
Yeah, I don't collect basketball, but I'm a big Spurs fan, and they might have one. I've never looked, but David Robinson and Tim Duncan, just because of
the Admiral and the Fundamental.
I mean, the big fundamental, yes,
big fundamental.
Definitely. I'm glad that Beau brought up music because mine is music. I'm not a Pearl Jam fan, but I think Eddie Vedder singing any oldie song of his choice, such as "The Last Kiss" by J. Frank Wilson and the Cavaliers. Eddie Vedder could just basically go through a catalog of 50s and 60s music and release like one of those old and because Beau has worked, behind the microphone at games and things, he could do, buy this 6 CD, 64 song set by Eddie Vedder. Call right now 1-800-1,000,000 Cubs, toll free. My non-sports would have to be my favorite singing artist of all time, Sam Cooke, who I have a large shrine to in my house. And Ray Charles, who were right there in the 60s with one another. They performed a few times on the same stage, especially on the circuit back in the day where African American singers were kind of all lumped together back in the 60s and had to tour together. And Ray Charles obviously is not with us. He died in 2004. Sam Cooke died in 1964. So. What's fun about it, we keep mentioning cut autos. It would be like a dream low, like if they could be on card together, if we had that time machine to put them on together. So a lot of fun combinations.
Doug A said Puckett and Killebrew. I don't know who those. That one of them's a Royals Hall of Famer. Now is that Puckett? Is that the singer?
Yeah, Gary Puckett in the Union Gap.
In the Union Gap, right?
Yeah, Lady Willpower.
You're both wrong.
But,
I'll let the fairer sex go first.
Sport-wise, I would like to see a Herb Score, Burt Blyleven. Both were great announcers. Actually,
both Indians.
Yes. Herb Score was one of the reasons why I got back into the hobby. Was I walked into a hobby shop, and there was this Herb Score signed ball, and it was the first thing that I bought since I'd done away with collecting from my younger years. But non-sport, I'd have to go with the passing of the torch of Reggie Fils-Aimé and Doug Bowser at Nintendo America.
The two executives. My body is Reggie, and the current Doug Bowser. How appropriate for Nintendo, right?
Sure.
No, for mine, I tossed around some controversial ones like Marilyn Monroe and Joey D, or Oswald Kennedy, Dallas Connection, or Monica and Bill, or even Hamilton Burr. Just some controversial ones. But no, when I initially saw the tweet, I thought he was asking for hockey picks, so I said Craig and the crown's kicking in. Sorry, guys. The Russian goalie for the 1980 Olympics team.
I love that guy.
Thank you. All-time hockey goalie great. Both of them.
That's neat.
Who's your non-sport? Jack Daniels and Jim Beam?
you would argue that, but no. So for non-sport, I could go music and say Chris Cornell and Kurt Cobain. I could say Vladislav Tretiak, by the way, and Jim Craig. I could go history and go, Lincoln and Kennedy, or Lincoln and Washington, or any number of those. But for non-sport,
you're going Shepler Wilson.
Of course.
I don't have one of Ben's.
We can make your dream come true in exchange for a Felix PA rip card.
Well, how about a box loader from like 03 Heritage?
Done.
But no.
Done.
Non-sports a bit tougher, because I'm not just interested in one or the other, or music or this or that. But I think I would go with Nintendo's game programmer, Miyamoto. And, let's go with the programmer for Linux, Linus Torvalds. Someone's going to the bathroom real quick. So in the computing world, you have a Windows operating system, and you have the Apple operating system, and you have the Linux operating system. So I'd go with the head programmer for Linux and the head gaming programmer, at least for the longest time, Shigeru Minamoto.
Outstanding. So I have a fun one for the non-sport one, but we'll get there. So my sport one is Barry Sanders and Lynette Woodard. Now, if anybody can tell me who Lynette Woodard is, give you a prize.
You, chat.
He's the guy on the dual auto with Barry Sanders. What do I win? Yeah.
She was the first female Harlem Globetrotter. She started at the University of Kansas. But the best part about it is they both went to North High School. And my grandpa was the head football coach there for 20-something years, and also the athletic director for a long time, both when these kids were in high school. And, Barry, my grandpa helped Barry get to Oklahoma State, but Lynette really loved my grandpa. And when he passed almost 5 years ago, she came to the big ceremony we had at the high school a few years later, and said some nice words, and such a kind woman. So those are my two. I have a little tiny PC of Lynette Woodard autographs, which I love, and for that reason, they're both from my hometown, and my grandpa saw them as kids and told wonderful stories about both of them. Non-sport, my fun one would be Alex Trebek and Will Ferrell.
Tandy.
They would be a good combo on there. But my non-sport, William Peterson of CSI fame, he played Gil Grissom, and James Gandolfini, who played Tony Soprano. Probably two of my favorite shows that I could put on and watch those series over and over and over and over again.
Not even your co-host?
And never, ever get bored. No, I don't like
on ESPN.
Those would be my two non-sport ones there. And would be awesome. And then too, like he said, ESPN, so it made me think like me and Stuart Scott and the Schwab. That would have been cool too. When I had the opportunity, I should have taken it. I actually could have had that one, but I was too disappointed in my poor performance. That's what she said.
So is everyone.
So that was a good question. So guys, we love these things, and we will steal them from you if we think they're really good. So keep it up, and you'll feel our show full of awesome segments like this. Steph put out a poll for this week for team or set collectors. Do you consider the short print or the super short prints of today as more of an insert, a parallel, or part of the set? We had 86 votes, and there were 4 options: insert, parallel, set, or other. Other came in at 7%. Set came in at 24%. Parallel came in at 26%, and the winner was insert at 33%. So, guys, let's say you up 36. 36%. Sorry, I got that wrong. Oh God, parallel won at 36%. I can do it. I'm a smart guy.
We said not to screw this up pre-show.
Yeah, well, I sent the notes. You should have double checked. So parallel did win. What do you think it is?
3%. So the reason I threw this out there, I'm running low on Twins Together for the Topps base set. And I'd argue that the short prints that Topps has put out since like 08, 09, 10-ish, somewhere in there. I mean, 07 if you want to count the Mantle, Bush, Jeter. But not everyone's just a Yankees fan or Jeter collector. So I thought, well, that would be a natural extension. I have update and I have base, but the short prints would make a odd bookshelf mate. So I asked, do you guys think of it as more of an insert that you can ignore after you get your 2 or 3? Is it more of a parallel, which is kind of what it is, but it's really not, even though they share the same number? Or is it actually part of the set? And I'd argue, as the poll shows there, that it's part of an insert, because even though they share the number It's not really. They're numbered. They're not numbered sequentially into the set.
Okay.
But I wanted to know what everyone else thought. So there's the poll.
I guess my line of thinking, I would consider it a parallel, just because I think of an insert as a subset, essentially. An insert set, whereas an SP or an SSP is more similar to a parallel. I do understand it's up for interpretation for, I think, each individual collector. But I think in my collection, I would probably categorize it more as a parallel.
What do you think, Mike?
I think as long as you're not talking like heritage short prints, those I view as part of the set, obviously.
Sure.
Or at least obvious to me. If you're talking more the flagship SPs, yeah, I view that more as a parallel as well. Inserts I kind of see as their own set, like you said, a subset, kind of their own deal. But I kind of view them as a parallel.
So
I think for me, I have less interest in those SPs, just like I have very little interest in parallels and rainbows and that type of thing. I'll put together an insert set along with the main set, but I don't ever go after parallels and rarely any of the SPs.
So would you say that they're kind of like the 89 Topps Future Stars half parallel? The subset of the set?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because they don't have their own number. I'd say somewhere in that parallel or other.
Somewhere in between.
To me, they're like, it's like having so if you have card 6, right, and it's Javi Baez, and then there's a card 6, but it's Sean Dunston, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, and they're in the Cubs uniforms. To me, it's a parallel of the Baez card, and you can consider it part of the team extended team set if you want. And lately with Topps, the flagship stuff, when the Giants or Royals have had a short print, I've tried to pick those up. Now they're not so much the super short print because it's just a manufactured item, and it kind of drives up the price. And to me, it's not as, it just seems forced. But the short prints are neat because sometimes it's a veteran parallel, or a star parallel to something else, or a photo variation of the same guy. So then you can include it into that set if you choose so. But it's definitely a parallel similar to like if it was a gold or as a camo or one of those things where it shares the number, but the player or subject might be slightly different.
You have short prints like Mike had mentioned on, like, say, a heritage checklist, most of them that are continuations of the base set. So those are part of the base set. So if we're just talking about short prints and super short prints, as in numeric parallels, that's what they are. They're photo variations. So just by definition, they're parallels to the actual set. So if we're looking at flagship with all of their money grabs, as Mark Hoyle says, he considers them an insert. Then they're probably a parallel. So they're, depending on which specific set we're talking about, I suppose they could be listed as anything. But as Beau had said, an insert is actually its own set. It's a set within a set. So it's a subset. Therefore, an SP by definition cannot be part of that.
But you can include it, right, if you wanted to.
It's all semantics at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You can call it whatever you want to call it. Because if you're going to ask Beau,
not a rookie card.
Well, yeah, if you're asking Beau, all right. So the Sean Dustin photo variation short print, off of a Chris Bryant, he's going to say they're both Cubs cards. I don't care what they are. Just give them to me. I want them both.
Right.
The ill-posed Chris Bryant from a few years back.
One of the best cards of this century.
Very, very good Photoshop material.
Yeah. Mark also mentioned short prints were because of sheet layout in 6th and 7th series. Inserts were in base sets. So,
sure.
Again, I guess a lot of it goes back to the set. Are we talking heritage, where short prints are numbers 401 through 500? Or are we talking flagship, where there's short print and super short print photo variations?
More flagship based. So
That was the intent. It's not like Ginter where there's like a 30 card break and then a short print heritage style.
Can anybody explain that? Like,
well,
okay,
you know what to
I
ask at the national
to figure out what happened. Now, where the Wood Minis went from 18, or why there's a missing 50 cards, I don't know what question I would ask. But if I could only choose one, it'd be really hard. It's like picking a favorite, child or something.
Oh, that's easy.
That's where you tell everyone around you and get somebody else to ask the question for you.
There we go.
We all have a favorite kid, whether we want to admit it or not.
My mom is actually it's a son of one of her friends. That's her favorite kid. So
the redheaded stepchild.
So the big reason we have these two gentlemen on tonight, there's two reasons. Well, actually three. One is because I really like both of them, and they, Mike's
but not
been on.
Angela. He only likes those two.
No, I'm talking about. No, because I'm talking about. I'm the gentleman. I said gentlemen. The two gentlemen we have on the show. We're gonna get to Angela here in a second. Trust me. Is that Mike's been on here before. He's been an awesome co-host with us before. He's hopped in last minute. He's been enjoying us, and we spotlighted Beau, and that was one of our more popular collector spotlights we've had.
Yep.
And they've had some interesting conversations around a topic, and we brought him on for that reason. Plus, we're going to talk about Chicago, the National coming up, and Angela. Last year we used her; she's an expert, and that's why we have her on. So it's like our Avengers end game here tonight. And
why'd you call her Martha? Sorry, what?
So, and then now Steph doesn't have to yell, "Hey, Angela," really loud into the microphone, scare everyone. So
honestly,
it's easier when I'm here.
The reason we had the guys on today, Tim's like, I just want to have a really mediocre show this week, and I said, hey, see if Mike and Beau are available.
So mean.
He wants to demo out.
It's just his old man, get off my lawn. So shipping PWE. So if you don't know what PWE is, and I sell on Twitter, I sell on eBay, and I've had somebody go, "What's PWE?" And it's like plain white envelope, and even spelled out in the notes down there. But I understand if you can't read. So plain white envelope, and what it is shipping a card in a regular envelope, and being able to ship cards and inexpensive cards are at a better price than sending out a 50-cent card and a $3.50 or $4 bubble mailer to somebody that's looking to buy it. So you guys tell me a little bit. I know that you guys have had articles and videos done on the best ways to do it. So Mike, why don't you give me my pitch of like why PWE, what it does, positives, negatives, and what some do's or don'ts are for you when you're doing PWE.
Yeah, for me, as a lower end collector, I know when I was buying, before I was even selling, there were 25-cent cards, 50-cent cards, $1 cards that I was interested in getting and adding to my collection. But I was put off when my only options that I was seeing was to add on an additional $3 or additional $4 for shipping. And that's not something that I was really interested in until I started discovering, people offering, PWE shipping. When I started selling on sport lots and even on eBay, again, because I collect lower end cards, I was selling lower end cards. And so I wanted to offer that same service. And so I decided, I think you can do this safely in a way that somebody's going to get their card and they're going to get it in good shape. But I only have to charge a low amount, or now I even offer free shipping. And so it allows me to sell a card on sport lots and charge real cheap shipping. And on eBay, I offer free shipping, and I can sell a card for 99 cents with free shipping. And because I'm sending it PWE, I'm still clearing 25 cents on that. And so, I'm buying some of these cards and collections for a half a cent or less per, and clearing 25 cents on it. It's a pretty decent return. And so it's been a great avenue to open up hundreds, if not thousands, of additional sales and transactions because almost solely because I'm able to offer PWE. And so that's kind of the reason why. I think some of the blowback people get is when they send PWE but charge bubble mailer prices for that, which I think is not a good way to do it. And so in all of my listings, it's clear that that item is going to come PWE. And then as long as you take some care with, a top loader or card saver, some
tape, right?
packing material, you can easily I send anywhere from 1 to 10 cards PWE, and I've had in the thousands of shipments that I've had, I think I've had less than 10 where somebody contacted me and said that it arrived damaged or never made it. And so some of those fears that people throw out there, there's a lot of overblown hyperbole that goes into that.
So, Beau, what do you like go ahead about your PW pitch?
Yeah, with Mike mentioned sport lots, and I was very hesitant in initially selling on eBay with plain white envelopes. But really what kind of calmed those fears was selling on sport lots, and so many transactions on sport lots were economy shipping in a plain white envelope. So I began to dabble on eBay, and every once in a while you will get somebody who claims they didn't receive the shipment. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. But I felt that there was enough experimentation through sport lots and through my initial eBay transactions that I think I could have made a go of it. So I started out, listing some auctions, doing PWE shipments, had some decent success rates, opened a store, expanded to the medium to the middle-sized store on eBay. And, out of 1,000 shipments, a few have been either claimed that they didn't receive, and they're all under $10. I'm not sending out $20 cards in a plain white envelope. I'm not charging $3 shipping. I'm charging $1 or free shipping on low end cards. And like I said, it's less than 1% on all of my transactions on eBay. I have a stack of plain white envelopes that'll be shipped out tomorrow, just from the last couple of days. So I'm sending out several a day, and I do a piece of cardboard. This is a piece of priority mailbox that some Cubs cards were sent in. I use this as a sandwich with a penny sleeve and a top loader, and and that's good enough. It's under 1 ounce, and it gets through the postal service.
Yeah, I agree with these guys. I mean, I've been selling pretty heavily since April. I was just looking, and I'm well over 1,000 sales, and I would say a good 70% of them have been PWE. And I have so many free top loaders from other purchases I've made throughout, whatever. And I just had a box of them. And I know one time Ben threw a whole drawer of them away because I had so many stacked up here. I didn't even take them, but I use those, and I use some kind of a packing material, whether it's another piece of paper, and it gives you a good opportunity too to slide a note and a card in there and send it off and offer, anything. What I always tell customers on my store is anything over $3 shipping isn't a bubble mail, or anything less than that is going to be PWE. And everybody's been good. I've had one instance where something wasn't delivered, and hey, took the hit, but it's a couple bucks, and it's the cost really of doing business. And I've had any customers come back and complain and say that. I've seen more sales of single and lower end cards go out this way. And I think some collectors, there's some schmucks out there, and that we've talked about before on Twitter, that said, you send a PWE, I'm going to claim that it never came. I'm going to get a free card, and you're SOL. So
because there's no tracking.
Yeah, there's no tracking, and that's what happens. But then if it's a high-end card that you're afraid about, then send it with the tracking and send it with all that stuff, signature, whatever you'd like to do. And I also do that. But on a base card or an insert card that the customer paid $1 for, spending $4, no one wants to do that. It does not feel good to spend $4 on an insert card to complete a set, right? And you can spend $1.75 and get the card. Hey, that's not a bad deal. Well, I'll take it. Go ahead and do that. So it was a very interesting topic, and I know that Beau has his sign back there that says it was a hashtag team PWE. he was making some shirts, and so I love it. I love his little advertisement back there. It's like Woody on when I used to watch not Pardon the Interruption, but Around the Horn. Yeah,
that's where I stole the idea.
Yeah, so he always had some sign up behind him, and I loved it. It was just a really good topic, and I think all of us here buy and sold on Twitter, and it's just a very interesting conversation to have. And hey, if you don't like it, you don't have to participate, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you don't, if it's not for you, that's fine. If that's not something you're comfortable with as a seller, that's fine. I always say, great, because that's just that many more sales that I'm going to get because I am willing to do it. And with the low dollar cards that we're talking about, if I have to eat a card or two to get hundreds or thousands of dollars in additional sales, I'm happy to eat that $2 card. It is a hot topic. I mean, it is to this day. I wrote my article at the beginning of 2018, and to this day, it's the most popular article on my blog. It has the biggest Google search results and of any of the articles that I've written. So it's a pretty popular one.
Yeah,
and who knew envelopes and blue tape would bring up so many hot hobby conversation in the last 2 weeks?
You're hashtag blue tape. I'm hashtag team bags.
Yeah, but
I'm hashtag both. Okay, you use both.
Team bags
like
don't.
double protection.
Yeah, team bags and PWEs don't work as well. I will say this.
Also not an effective form.
I've bought from Beau and Mike through. I know I've bought through Squirt Lots with Mike before. I bought with Beau before a couple of times on accident. It was just like, hey, you have a card I want, and then I go to pay for it. I'm like, I probably could have just hit him up and bought it from him directly. But both guys are really good at shipping PWE and have a lot of knowledge. And in about the card's latest article on pricing, both guys were given references to hit up if anybody were to have questions, because both of you guys are good resources for PWE. If you're buying that way, if you're selling that way, obviously both of you guys are really good to hit up and ask before you buy or sell.
Just don't use Scotch tape, please. For the love of God.
Well, so worse than Scotch tape, and
blue tape.
I would almost would have preferred PWE for what I paid. In the mail, and I mentioned this I think last show, I got a package like this that, while it was in a USPS, not bubble mailer, with a box surrounding it, I would have almost preferred PWE cards.
It was a sandwich baggie, and not
for 87 Tops Tiffany for a team practically near complete team set.
Not to mention that is the sticky part of a post-it note on the card.
Not even the regular half of the post-it note. So, what I was getting to was that, if you're gonna buy from PWE, you kind of know what you're buying, and the seller knows what they're paying. That you kind of get what you pay for, but if you're gonna pay $6-7, you probably shouldn't get it shipped like this. It's an easier way and cheaper way to get stuff mailed to you.
Yeah, if you're selling stuff on eBay or anywhere, and you're selling more than a card here or there, spend $2, buy some team bags, and go spend a couple bucks to get some blue tape, right? If you want to do that,
or if you're really spending, you get the green tape.
Yeah, the frog tape, whatever, and do that kind of stuff. It's one of those things. Like, there was somebody also that showed today that they bought a 1-of-1 Bo Jackson like triple relic card that was shipped in a USPS envelope, but the card was just thrown in there with nothing around it. So,
or this that was mailed in a PWE.
So, and anyway,
no top loader, man.
So
that's a penny sleeve.
Penny sleeve and some tape. Real quick, I saw that Chris Torres hopped in. If you're here, we had a quick question. We saw that you were opening some Ellen and Ginter, and if you can let us know, you pulled a rip card of Ichiro, and we want to know if you're going to keep the card or not. So that was a hot topic earlier in the show.
And a trout. That's pretty sweet.
Yes. I'm having some fun up there. So Outstanding. We're going to get into some real big talk here. Another reason we have the fellas on and our super special guest, our super short print guest, Angela.
Yes.
Hey, Angela!
Yeah.
Which that goes with Hey Adrian, right? With Rocky. Not a chance, huh? You're not a chance.
You can't yell at me when I'm seriously sitting not 6 inches from him.
If I weren't saving for a major show, I would hit you up on that Jose Barrios because that's sweet.
It's
Share it
gorgeous.
here. Where'd it go? Boop, boop.
Steph's clicking away here. Oh, that's a pretty nice.
It's a beautiful patch. I like the circle booklets.
He says he might rip it but not keep it.
Yeah, interesting. So we're going to talk about the 40th National coming up in Chicago. It's 2 weeks from today. It starts July 31st. It runs through Sunday, August 4th at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, right outside of Chicago there. We're not going to be having a traditional show on Wednesday the 31st as Steph and I will be traveling to the show. Just to give you a heads up, the hours for the show are going to be Wednesday. The preview show is from 4 to 8 p.m. Thursday, the doors open at 11 and go till 6. The same with Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, shortened hour, 10 to 5. All this information is available at the Nationals website. Tickets. So general admission tickets are $19 online if you pre-order, $22 at the door. It's a one-day entry fee any day of the event. There's also a couple of VIP packages. So you have the VIP package. If you buy online, it's $139. If you buy at the door, it's $149. It includes all 5 days, including Wednesday's night sneak peek, an exclusive VIP gift package, 12 select free VIP autographs, 30-minute early entry each day, and the use of the VIP lounge and additional benefits. Then they have the super VIP package that's going to run you $199 online or $209 at the door. That's the VIP package plus free parking pass, double VIP gift package, autograph tickets to all 18 free VIP signers. And those two VIP packages tend to sell out. So if you're looking to get those and you haven't, I would
pick them up.
Hop on. Yes. And Ben left the show. He's got an early appointment tomorrow morning, so he's got to get up bright and early. And he's old as he's going to be turning 40 tomorrow, so he needs his rest. All kids under 12 are free, which is awesome. Love that. Get those younger
Very nice
in there. So the Wednesday sneak peek is a preview of the show. Like I said, Wednesday from 4 to 8. You can use a one-day general admission ticket or the VIP tickets to get in. All exhibitor booths will be open and ready to do business, and the National provides several sneak peek free autograph guests to all attendees on Wednesday. And I think one of them is Bill Cartwright. Sacramento's great, so I'm excited. There is a VIP party at the National on Wednesday the 31st at 2 p.m. A special event featuring two of the biggest names to hit the sports collectible hobby will be held just prior to the VIP party at the National. Gary Vaynerchuk of Vaynerchuk Media has a huge social media presence, and he's deeply involved in sports memorabilia. He'll be manning a dealer booth as well. Josh Luber, the co-founder of StockX, an online marketplace, initially collectibles of sneakers, he's going to be there as well. And Josh and Gary will have a appearance there together to discuss the hobby. So I think that Chris Torres is going to that, and we've asked him to be our special reporter to gather some information and share that with all of you as well. Some awesome autograph signers. There's over 90, but here's just a few. So baseball, there's a guy named Rod Carew, Robin Yount, Pete Rose, Ricky Henderson. Football, you're going to have Jerry Rice, Deion Sanders, Barry Sanders, Marshall Faulk. Dr. J's going to be there, Allen Iverson, Leitner, Phil Esposito, Bobby and Brett Hull, Jim Craig, as we talked about him earlier. Entertainment, here's where I'm excited. You got Shatner. Shatner's cool. Hulk Hogan. But Patrick Renna, Ham from Sandlot. You're killing me, Smalls. He's going to be there. So, guys, you two are going, right?
We are.
I'll be there.
Yep, I'll be there Thursday through Saturday.
Outstanding. And, Bo, what days are you going to be there?
Thursday through Sunday.
And, Steph, you guys, you and Ange?
We will be there probably Tuesday night through Sunday.
And I will be in town Wednesday through late Saturday, and I'll be signing autographs. Those will be free.
Nobody
But I
wants
seriously want to know who's going to be there. I'm making a sign, so everybody I run into signs this piece of paper I'm coming up with, and I'm designing. It's super dorky, but I want to hang it up here on my back wall of all of the collectors, the listeners, people I've met over the years. I want an autograph.
That's not nearly as dorky as us having people sign the white dummy cards.
No, seriously,
we do that every year.
We do that every year.
Yeah, I have white dummy cards. I have index cards. I'm bringing. I'm making a sign because I want to, because I've known Steph 8 years now, and we've never met. You know, we've done a show together for over a year.
Hey, it's not my fault you don't want to come to the sports mecca of Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna meet. I've already talked to Mojo Break. I'm gonna be on the hype with them, I think. And they're.
Why is it just you?
Well, they asked me today. You can come with me. I told them you're gonna be there.
Of course.
But they're 3 hours from me. I've driven by their store on the freeway and just not stopped because I was doing other things with family. I have to go to Chicago to meet these guys. I'm super
excited.
You
do other things? You're not allowed to do other things.
I know. If I didn't have the family, I could do so many fun things. Real quick, my wedding. I don't know if you guys saw, my wedding ring fell and broke this week.
I like that Topher tweeted a giveaway for a wooden ring.
Yeah, it's split in two. And I took it back to the store we bought it, and the guy's like, dude, I've never seen that. And so we're going to get a new one, but I'm still trying to figure out what I want. So in the meantime, my wife ordered me a silicone ring on Amazon for $6.
So how many couches have you been sleeping on?
None. She was really happy the ring broke. She never liked it. So, guys, real quick. So I want to get to the National. I'm so excited. I've never been. Now, Mike, have you been?
Yeah, I went for my first time was actually 2 years ago when it was in Chicago, and I had never been before. And one of the fellow collectors that I know from down here was like, hey, it's in our backyard. You've got to get up there at least for a day. And so I went up just on Saturday and spent the full day. It was a bit overwhelming to try to see in one day, but it was a blast. It was an amazing experience walking in for the first time and seeing everything. And I did get a chance to see the whole floor. Didn't get to look thoroughly at as many dealer booths as I would have liked, but still got a chance to get a feel for it, find some good deals, and do some of that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend, if you have the opportunity to go for multiple days, to do that, because I think you won't feel quite as rushed to get through everything. But if you've only got one day, it's still worth going to check out.
And that's kind of answering a question in chat, whether you can actually truly enjoy the show in one day.
Yeah, it sounds like it'd be a little tough, but take the opportunity if you can go for that reason, to be able to say, hey, I went and got something out of it, because you're going to be able to experience something. Beau, have you been before?
No, this will be my first. So I'm meeting up with a friend of mine who he travels to every national. So he's been to maybe the last 10 shows at least. And he goes to Atlantic City, Cleveland, and in Chicago. He's from Illinois, so it's not too bad for him. So he suggested the same thing. He said take as much time off as you can, because 1 or 2 days is going to be pretty tight. So I'm taking a half day Thursday and then all day Friday. So I'm going to head down Thursday afternoon and be there for the whole weekend, and plus Friday and Thursday nights. So looking forward to it. I went to the Chicago Sports Spectacular in November, and I went with my same friend Dave that goes to all the nationals, and he said that, and that was a huge show, and we were there all day, and I probably only got to half the booths, and he said the national is 10 times what this show is. So I'm really excited to not just see all of the dealers and everything that goes on with the national, but to meet you guys as well, and to meet, there's so many people that we follow on Twitter that I've never had the chance to meet. So just to meet up with fellow collectors. But I know it's going to be pretty intense as far as how many tables there are, and it's going to be tough to interact with people throughout the weekend. So I'm just going to try to take this first time to soak everything in and try to meet people and try to hit the tables at the same time.
Yeah, I think the socializing aspect is the part that I'm the most excited about this time, even more so than seeing the cards and seeing the dealers and doing shopping. It's when I went 2 years ago, I hadn't started the website. I hadn't really had any of the, anything like that. And so just the people that like you guys that I've started to meet and interact with, that's what I'm most excited about this time, is getting a chance to be face to face with a bunch of the people that I interact with online all the time.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me, and to go out and see that and kind of experience and meet those people. And I know Steph and Ange have been to a few too, so we're going to kind of go through some do's and don'ts. We did this last year,
and that's
what to do and kind of what to expect. I've had so many people reach out and say, hey, you want to do this, you want to do that. So I want to get into that tonight. So guys, how many nationals have the two of you been to?
So she's actually got one up on me,
Ooh.
but only because at the time she was living in Cleveland and there was a show in Cleveland that year.
He literally told me like 2 weeks before, saying, "Oh yeah, the biggest show of the year is in your backyard." I'm like, "Oh really?
Go check it out."
I guess I'm gonna go buy tickets.
Well, and it's kind of like the Smithsonian, where you could spend 10 hours going through there, but you don't experience everything. It's as far as what to do, comfortable shoes first and foremost. The tops may have the greatest carpet ever, but shoes go a long way.
A comfortable bag of some sort. Well, I've seen multiple different ways of doing this, whether it be a duffel bag, as some people like, but that's only one shoulder,
or a
comfortable backpack, or even like a tote bag. Just be prepared to carry your stuff all day.
One of those like corded bags that like eBay has on site, or Tops can give away for doing certain things on site.
But we all know that those suck after about 2 hours. So bring your own. Your back will thank you.
I picked up an Amazon Basics backpack for like $15. It's super comfy with tons of pockets.
Yes.
There
you go.
Phone battery. Make sure you have an extra one of those little charge packs, or know someone who does, because while there may be a few electrical outlets by the food court or whatnot, you're going to A, be overpaying for the food court, and B, everyone and their mother is going to try to get to that spot. Which brings me to also something that everyone will be trying to get to, the ATM. Bring cash.
What about debit and credit? So if you recommend to have just cash on you instead?
Either cash, some vendors will take PayPal, some vendors will take this, that, the other, similar to PayPal.
If you're buying boxes, they don't take credit card. And as a general rule of thumb, like you're gonna go Blowout, you're gonna go to Atlanta, you're gonna go to any of those places. Those places all take credit card. Right. But if you're gonna pay for vintage, be prepared with cash. Yeah. Most of those old guys do not take PayPal. They don't even know what a credit card is. They only know what cash is. So bring cash. And the ATMs will be out at the end of every day. And they don't get refilled on Saturday night. So there'll be no cash on Sunday.
And also, too, I heard Sunday, not maybe the best day, because people tend to close up pretty quick and early that day.
Right.
There's a huge party that happens on Saturday night, and a lot of the vendors end up at it. And so they're all hungover the next day. So no one shows up until like 11 a.m. and then they're packing.
Between the Tops Q&A, the Net 54 dinner, the PSA dinner, the Panini...
it's the Panini VIP party that kills it.
Everybody has different events that they can, if you can get into, have different events that host dinner and free drinks and this, that, and the other. That Sunday in particular, the show is practically done by 1 or 2. I mean, most of the vendors will try to stay open until 4 because that's what they're obligated to do. But, it's for the most part, everyone's packing up. But it's also the best day to get deals. because everyone doesn't want to mail home all those extra boxes.
So if you're buying cases, buy them Sunday. If they're not in readily supply, buy your boxes on Sunday.
Or stop by like the Ultra Pro booth where the vendor might say, hey, we're giving away promo stuff. Hey, instead of one that they might have given you on Thursday or Friday, hey, here's 2 or 3 of this, that, or the other.
Nice. So what do you say like some of the best things about like you have like if you had to name like 3 things you have to see or go do while you're at the National, what would those be?
Our personal favorite is running into everybody. Now, I mean, mind you, this year's a little different because we're going to have like 8 people in an apartment, and you guys are invited if you want to come stop by to see if we can't get thrown out. But
I was told throwing out is not allowed, but
we'll see.
We're gonna have fun, that's for sure. But it's all about talking to the people.
Either running in, it's your one chance to talk to Suze from Tops, or Tracy from Panini, or Chris Carlin from Upper Deck,
or Big Chef from About the Cards,
Brian from Leaf, or the 3 of us. Or
I have several dealers that live across the country that I literally only see them at the show, and they email me beforehand like, what do you want to see, so I can have it for you.
Also, real quick, Rich had sent me some DMs, and he said, wear comfortable shoes, bring 2 or 3 times as much as you plan on bringing if you can't afford to do so. If you see something rare and you need it and it's priced right, buy it immediately. If it's he said if it's an Alex Gordon jersey card and you can wait, do that. He said if you're going to be there for a few days, take advantage and buy one of the passes. He said there are a ton of great articles on prepping for the first National. So, but he said, those are some of the easy things. And also, too, water. If you can sneak a water in, I heard.
Oh.
That's why you get a good backpack.
Yes.
Well, it's one of those things that you don't want to have buyer's remorse. But if it's something common or, just a plain Jane relic, or auto, you can kind of shop around on those.
Yeah.
Like a couple of years back, and I'm still kicking myself for not picking up. There was a Sports Illustrated. It's a fairly popular one with Ted Williams and Rod Carew. Someone had them both signed for like $200. I would kill to actually pick it up now, but I'm sure it's sold.
Yeah.
It's one of those, dual auto. Hey, speaking of.
So Chris Torres asked if I'm bringing security. I am the security.
Yeah, he's going to be wearing enough Axe body spray to repel everyone.
So
yes, everyone, please shower.
So Mike, please deodorant. Mike, what are you looking for this? So it's gonna be your second trip. You're an old pro at this now. What's on your want or your to-do list when you hit up the National this year in Chicago?
I really want to get into the Tops Q&A session, and so I'm going to be making an effort to get into the
talk to us
Q&A session. Meeting people my plan is on Thursday and Friday to do more socializing, interacting, meeting people, having some conversations. I'm going to try to, the owner of ComC, Tim is going to be there. I'm going to be trying to.
Super nice guy. Really tall though.
No, and two, they have an email time with Tim.
Yep.
Which I wanted to steal, but second chef, maybe we could do that. Yes, we're trying to sneak in there too to do an interview for the show.
Well, because they posted a blog post saying, hey, if you want to have a 20-30 minute session to talk with our owner, send us an email at such and such address and go to it. And I just happened to exit out from my work window and I pulled up TweetDeck and I saw it. I'm like, retweet, bloop. And the social media guy sent me replied and goes, we need to get a timestamp on that because I think you retweeted it before we hit send. Like, okay, guys, I get it. I'm going back to work. But they're trying to organize it so that they can get the name out there and the ownership. And if they want to have Tim, I've had lunch with him. Super nice guy. Very personable, super knowledgeable about basketball. If they want to have him available and to put him out there as like the Sue's entity, the Tracy entity, the this person, that person, hey, great. Hey, I mean, let's have him on the show. Let's send him an email. Let's get Rich to send him something so that they actually get back to us on whether we can time slot in a schedule. Yeah. But I'd love to talk to him again.
So what else are you looking forward to, Mike?
So those two things, and then I'm also hoping to do some box diving there on Saturday. When I was there last time on Saturday, a lot of the people with dollar boxes had them marked down to 50 cents or a quarter on Saturday afternoon. People with dime boxes were kind of fill up an 800 count for something real cheap. And with the volume of stuff that I'm selling through on Sport Lots, I'm hoping to pick up some volume of inserts and some of the other base and things like that I'll be able to sell on Sport Lots. I'm going to be looking for a few key pieces, like a 74 top set is the last set from the 70s that I need. And so I think I'm going to try to pick it up in one big chunk. Maybe pick up some racing cards that I've been having a hard time tracking down on ComC and eBay. So I'm going to be kind of keeping an eye out for stuff as well.
Definitely obtainable.
Yeah. But what are you looking to accomplish? Do you have anything in particular?
The only things that I'm really seeking out are the dollar boxes. I had a great time at the Spectacular in November digging through dollar autograph boxes. I pulled like 60 Cubs autographs and then, 4 or 5, recent Bowman autos that, for $1 I'll speculate and hopefully these guys get hot and I can, flip them for, a small profit. And then I'd like to meet Gary V. Just get a selfie with him, have a few seconds. He's a pretty abrasive personality in our hobby. There's a lot of people that love him. Controversial. Perfect. Yeah. There's a lot of people that love him, a lot of people that hate him. I think he's great for the hobby. I followed him since before he jumped back into to collecting. And he's a great mind that has a huge following on social media that is in my mind, in my opinion, is great for the hobby. And I'd like to at least get a selfie, shake his hand, and other than that, just meet some people from social media that I haven't met in person before and just kind of soak it all in. It is my first time, so I'm not going in with, super high expectations with a long want list because I do just want to enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
So you're not looking necessarily to add 100,000 cards just by doing that.
No, I have been wheeling and dealing with a few people that hopefully I will do some more large in-person trades. My goal is 30,000 Cubs cards based on trades that could come to fruition. But I'm not sure if that will, go through or not. But I did do one deal in November in Chicago for 30,000. So that's kind of the number that I'm, aiming for. And if I don't reach it, I'll still have a good time.
Well, and if it'll help you get there, I've got a couple hundred that are headed your way.
And, hey, everyone counts.
I'm all tapped out by I've hit everything. I haven't got any more free deliveries yet. So my big thing is what I'm looking for is a Joe Panning Topps Living. There are 3 Brett cards, Topps issue Brett cards, and a PSA 9 that I don't have that I'm looking for. I'm hoping to track down actually 4. And an Alex Gordon 06 Topps rookie in some version.
You know, Waxtopia has one of those, right?
I know he does. But
Maybe
what I can say from what I hear from everybody is have a plan, have a checklist of what you're looking to go after. Bring cash, sensible shoes, deodorant, and a nice backpack.
That sounds like a pretty decent list. Yeah.
So if you guys are there, we're gonna have a show next week, and we're gonna talk about this again. But I wanted these guys to come on and give you guys a 2-week heads up, so you can study up. If you have questions, reach out to us. We're more than willing to help and answer those or find an answer for you as we get there. Like I said, we're not gonna have a traditional show in 2 weeks, just because we're gonna be out there and we're gonna be providing lots of content. I got a GoPro. I'm gonna have my phone. We're gonna meet up and do interviews and little guest spots or whatever. So if you want to be part of it, come find us.
He'll essentially be attached at the hip.
Yeah. One day I'll be wearing a shirt with our logo on it, which these turned out pretty nice. So we actually might start putting these in production. I also have 2 other special shirts that I'm going to wear that I've made, but I'm going to keep those secret. You'll definitely be able to see and find me at the show.
Is one of them the not safe for work recommendation I sent you?
No.
Yeah.
They're all safe for work. So you'll all be there and come see me. Come say hi. I know Steph's shy, but he'll say hi as well. But I'm very excited. Like I can't wait. It just everything worked out with work and my home life and everything was perfect. And when my wife said, "Do it, go. Here's a plane ticket. Go," I couldn't say no. So when the wife says yes, then you take advantage of it, right? So
crazy.
You guys have anything else? Anything else you want to cover tonight before we almost hit the 2-hour mark? I know it's been a long show, but it's a good show. Lots of information, big releases, some good topics. But you guys have any final thoughts before we head out and end episode 57?
Don't be surprised if you end up leaving the show feeling like you didn't see everything, because you won't. But appreciate the show for what you do see. And send us your topics. If you're going to be there, definitely hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, Gmail,
Instagram.
Send us messages anywhere.
Yeah, our email is aboutthecardspod@gmail.com.
Exactly. Leave a message down below.
Yeah.
Where can we reach you guys?
You can reach me at Twitter at TheMikeSommer. On Instagram at WaxPackHero. WaxPackHero.com is the blog. Those are the main places to get a hold of me.
Where can we make purchases from you?
What's that?
Where can we buy stuff from you? If we want to hit up your Sportlot store and eBay.
Yeah, I sell on Sportlots. Triplets is my username on Sportlots. I am WaxPack Hero on ComC and WaxPack Hero 42 on eBay.
Nice. Beau, what about you, bud?
1millioncubs.net, Twitter at 1millioncubs, and also my eBay username 1millioncubs. That's all spelled out.
Nice.
And of course, we'll include this down below.
Oh yeah, we'll share it all. I appreciate you guys coming and spending 2 hours. I know it's late back there, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight.
It's only midnight.
Can't wait to see you and say hi and share some build some hobby stories together. It's gonna be great. So remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 Central on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. You can always follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. You can always follow Ben at Our Trading Cards. You can always follow Steph at Junkwax Twins. You can always follow me at Big Shep 79, and you can always follow the wonderful Angela at _Castle. Correct?
No, it's another _Castle.
There
you
we
can
go.
also find me at Junkwax Life and on Instagram at Junkwax Life as well.
She's the one that keeps stuff together for us.
Thank
Or
you.
just me or everyone else. Or
Yes. But make sure to please share your hobby stories, great polls, and send your questions our way. National Talk, definitely send it our way as well. And we will see you next week on another episode of About the Cards. Guys, keep collecting. We will talk to you soon.
Have a great week, everyone.